Well, happy Thursday, everybody. How are y'all doing? So good to see ya. And I'll tell you what, it is a phenomenal day in the neighborhood as I get over here and hit that button and go, hey. So what's up, folks? It's like I said, fantastic day. Been out doing a little weed eating. If I put it all together, probably about 1,800 feet. I mean, yeah, but it's good for you. You get out there and you sweat and you're out in the sunshine, and it's a great time to meditate, and take it from the perspective of the plant kingdom. You know, we would be like invaders. It's like, hey, you're here to wipe us out. But anyway, speaking favor over us all, nothing missing, nothing broken. Best reality I know of. And calling those things that be not as though they already are. Oh man, that's magic. I mean, that's deep, deep mind coitus. I mean, calling those things that be not as though they already are. And they call us nuts. I don't know, man. Yeah, anyway. So what's happening, everybody? Good to see y'all. Let me see as I go over here. And I'm assuming, there we are. We are. It's really weird watching yourself in this time delay. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm experiencing deja vu. Wow, man. Pretty heavy trip. I saw myself. Yeah. I think that's what we're going to talk about today. I mean, the subject of chiromancy, palm reading, palmistry. I mean, it's just fascinating. It's like, you think about it, that it's your guide. I mean, your hands have the marking when you come in. Hey, Lost in Space, and Mary Wins and Chloe. Hey, Darlene, much love to you, darling. The doctor's in the house. Daddy Rabbit, what's up? And Bonnie. Who else is Manifesting Annie? I love that handle. That is so cool. I mean, I love that. I mean, it's exactly what I just said. Calling those things that be not as though they are, right? Shirley, good to see you as well. And B. Aldeberry, what's up? Good to see you, my friend. So anyway, getting back to the palm thing. When we come into this world, it's like it's the book. I mean, if we knew how to speak the language, how to read the signs, the symbols, you could give every person an advantage in life, saying, well, this is what you bring into this realm. These are your talents, your raw talents. These are the gifts that you have been granted. And, now that you know what they are, wow, you could really kind of plan that whole life path as well. And then you check back and you look, and it's amazing. You go, oh, now that wasn't in there before. What the hell happened? That's what I'm talking about. So you've got this past thing that you come in with, and you can look at it and ever see the present. I mean, it's like really a freaking map. Oh, okay, I'm right here. Make adjustments. And then the interesting thing, it tells you a potential future. That's heavy. That's all I got to say. S. Lee, what's up? Good to see you, my friend. Tori, hello. Eric, what's up? Doris, hello. Aloha. Well, well, thank you, madam. Making me blush there. I mean, what the heck? I love it. Okay. That's when, as the driver, you go, whoa, like, hey, man, hey, it's having fun. That's all I got to say. So anyway, It's interesting. I got a book, and Robert Flood, mentioned him the other day. And I don't know how many of y'all have ever studied him, ever read about him. Um, but wow. So, there's a couple of books that I really, really like in my library. And, one we're going to get back into is MC Usher. This guy. Wow. I love his work. It's phenomenal. And we've seen it in so much, here's one. I love this one. It's like that song, "We're walking around in circles." And the famous this guy was really out there, the self-portrait. Now imagine that. Love these dudes, man. I mean, they're out there. They're like telling us it's okay. Let me get another one. You study these things, and it's like, wow. Here we go. Let's talk about infinity. Yep. And this is, you can see it's a great book. It's one of my, but I found one that I have to say is, wow, just blowing. So this is The Greater and Lesser Worlds of Robert Flood. The microcosm, and medicine. And I got to tell you, folks, man, I went on to a trip last night of this guy. I mean, wow. We're going to get more into it because such enlightened souls. They brought to us a knowledge, a perspective, an understanding that, well, we're going to have fun with it. And it's interesting because in this book, so you can see, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm holding that up right. So, he was a doctor. This guy was brilliant. And he had that gifting. And the thing that he said is that every person should be basically an expert in chiromancy, reading your palm. Your palm will tell you if there is something deficient in your body. It'll help you make adjustments to a course. You think about it, you go in a course of life, and it may not have been the path that you wanted to. Well, imagine if you had the ability to read the language. It's like those of you who speak multiple languages, and you can read and write in that language. To an uneducated person, it would be babble. Wouldn't make any sense. Well, they can't understand. They can't reason. Weird, isn't it? Mary Wins, what's up? Chloe, how have you been? And Penn Grady, good to see you. Peter and Scotty Boy, what's up? Good to see you all. Jargo, good to see you. William, hello. So Chloe, what's up, girl? Good to see you as well. And let's see what else. Go, all the way from Croatia. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Peter? So anyway, We're going to get more into it. To me, it's just a fascinating thing. And as I said, as I'm reading this book, and when you first get it, my wife said, "Oh boy," it's exactly what she said when she saw me coming in the house with it. She said, "Okay." I mean, I love what this guy's head's at. I mean, the central sun. Now, if you look at that and you study it, I mean, I love the fact that we can have the opportunity. It's kind of like, with the thought form book. They show us there's a realm out there. It's a realm that goes beyond anything we can think of. I think that's why, shamans, there's so many in shamanesses, I believe is the correct, appropriate way to express that. I mean, not everyone can be one, because I don't know. There's some people I know that say, no freaking way. I ain't going out there. You're going in a place where even angels fear to tread. You ever hear that one? Yeah. Well, maybe true. I kind of dig it. Steve, what's up? I had a palm reading 20 years ago, uncannily accurate. Bingo, brother. That's what I say. Robert V, what's up? I like that. I can't read. I can't speak, but I mean, it's true. And it is uncanny how it's like. Now, the cool thing is that, I'm still in my youthful phase. I mean, my philosophy and ideology, and therefore it would be my theology, because it is myology. Yeah, that's what it is. It's myology, is that we never age. Our bodies go through a process, but our bodies will also, as the heart thinks, so is the body. If you think that you're old, well, you're going to. I've seen 30-year-olds that are just old, and I've seen 70-year-olds that are just young. Yeah. Yeah. Just saying. But as I can look back now and I can see and I go, wow, because, no matter how many days they're yet ahead of us, for each of us, that number is different. Now, this is where the philosopher comes in, folks. This is where philosophy class gets in, because each of us have a date. I don't know where it's stored, but apparently it is. And I don't know if there's variations within that date of how many days we've been allotted. And it really is what we've been allotted. I mean, the world's a messed up place right now, but you know what? I believe mind is stronger than matter. And I like the fact that I can be in amongst a group of brilliant spirit minds, and where we can experience this spatial perception that is a little different than what everybody else sees. And we can come here and we can share these thoughts and then the things that we experience. That's pretty cool. But we all have a day, a number. Now, I don't know, again, as I said, I don't know if we can make variations. Can we add to those days? Can we take away from those days? Well, I guess the argument could be made if a person decides to, remove themselves from the board, then, but was that known? Could they have read that in their map? Oh, no. I'm just saying, man. I'm just out here talking. Hey, Rick, what's up? Good to see you. Jargo, New Yoda, what's up? Good to see you. Thank you. What's up, Scotty boy? I like the fact that we can take a licking and keep on a ticking. That's no shit. I think we can actually get stronger. I really do. You know, I'm always drawn to that video of the individual over in India. And he comes out, he says his goodbyes to everybody, greets his family. His family walk up into where his hut is, his domicile. And he goes in and gives up the ghost. I've shown you before that this is one of the secrets of how we can. It's a lost knowledge. I mean, imagine if you've just said, okay, I've had enough, but you leave in the way that I think it's supposed to have been. That you literally go in and you are ready for the transition. In fact, there has to be some sort of an energy shift, a frequency. And then as you become into that point, you just lay down in your bed and you transition like that. I don't know. I think that's kind of cool. And what a knowledge. I don't possess that knowledge. I believe it's out there because obviously there are those who have mastered it. All right, that's all you can say is that, man, that's just, FFO. That's all I got to say. That is an FFO. That way we keep it really good. Had a nasty cold yesterday. Well, Steve, speaking healing to you. Yesterday I said out loud, that's enough. You got to do that. You got to do that. That ain't no shit. Yeah. So anyway, let's continue. Now, yesterday we had the beginnings of a person who is, been at it a very long time, I would probably say. If you can write a book on the subject. Hey, Ballot Brand, how are you, Brandon? So good to see you, brother. Trust you are well. But Chloe says, way to go, Steve. Yeah, I agree. Hey, Michelle, what's up? There is a medical pathway for death, so there must be a way we can achieve this. I agree, Michelle. I totally agree. This is the type of knowledge that you can say it's esoteric in its genre, but I think it's part of the book. I don't know. We got to get better at what we can read, right? I mean, what was it that Fire Sign Theater said? How can you be in one place? Why can you be in two places at the same time when you're at no place at all? Now I'm totally, really. Brandon would say, doing great. Never had such hamstring than right now from the big. Yeah, buddy. Mm-hmm. The muscles will talk to you. I hope it was fun. It should have been meditative. A good hike. Yeah. Yeah. So let's get into this. So the hand, the palm. Not only is it a roadmap for us, a guide, you can almost say, a how-to book to navigate through this realm. But I was thinking about this when I was meditating today. It was that the thing I know about the palm from my former religion is that it's a sign of praise. You always go into praise with your palms up. I think I'm getting it now. Now I get the other aspect of it. They didn't teach us in Sunday school. And it's interesting. And when I do at certain times, certain meditative approaches, I will meditate with my palms up. How many of you do that? I sit there and it's interesting. I don't do it with my palms down. And you think about it as well. I wrote these notes out here, and it was interesting because it's coming to me. So you have prayer, right? And in prayer, when you do, you're bringing the two palms together. Now, it's interesting because I could see in an esoteric point of view that I'm bringing the polarity, the bifurcation of who we are as individuals. And when I bring these two together, there's immense power within that. I mean, it's a sign. And if you look, depending on the secret societies and other such Gnostic knowledge on that, we know that the palm, the hand, the way it has in a handshake, it's not this way. By the way, these are some very interesting signs as I'm seeing. Yeah, and I'm going, But nevertheless, when you shake another person's hand, when you clasp their hand, this can be in the form of a contract, a soul agreement that's being made in this plane, but has ramifications in the ethereal realm. You bring two unique languages or books, knowledge, and you bring them together. You do that with the handshake. It's also a way to bestow power. You lay your hands on somebody. It's also a way of healing. You lay your hands. You're not doing it this way. You're doing it this way. The palm, it touches the body. There's a transference of literal power. I mean, this is some deep stuff. But if you're ignorant of it or don't take it seriously or don't even, it says, well, it doesn't matter to me. Okay, that's cool. But I think there's some of us who go, there's something to this. I mean, this is something that's been passed down through generation by generation by generation. It's so far back, you can't even see where it begins. So there's something in this. You know, today, the way that they want to fingerprint us, and it's one of those unique identifiers. It's something AI hasn't figured out. How and why is this done? It's quite interesting when you think about it. Who was the architect for this? How did our species learn about this in ancient times? And they found it to be necessary. It wasn't just something that would be nice to know. No, it was a necessity. It's interesting. William says, is Islam depending on the step performing the palms or a side up in prayer? Yeah, see, there we go. Yeah. Draws power from yourself, Daddy Rabbit says. Yeah, it really is. Yeah. So that tells me that if there's something I heard about, well, then, all right, I'm assuming that what I heard about was right, where I would much rather probably read about it. So I'm going to bring in another perspective on as we move forward on this. I have this one on my Kindle. This is palmistry, a beginner's guide to palmistry. And where we left off was kind of with the basic shapes in the other book that we were reading out of yesterday. And this one goes on and says that, as we've already established, palmistry is not just the study of the lines of the hand. You must take into account the whole hand, and that includes the shape of the hand. What shape is your hand? Now, this author comes back and says the shape of the hand shape gives you the basic information on personality and character and is the foundation for further work. You should look at the basic shape of the hand before even starting to look at the nail, skin, palms, etc. It's easy to look at the shape of people's hands without them being aware of it. And you may decide to begin to do this as a matter of course to see how many different hand types you can spot. Now, isn't this interesting? I was thinking about this. If you had this knowledge and you were in a company that was part of the hiring process, I mean, you think about this. There are the wizards, the masters that are amongst us, the witches that are integrated into our society, and they have a knowledge that is unique and unique to a very few. And I think this is all part of that. Anyway, she goes on to say here, says, below you will see 7 hand types. Which hand type is yours? Look carefully before going any further, as it is important to realize which category your personality falls into before looking at others. Yeah. So in here we have left, the elemental hand, the square hand. Yeah. I thought this was interesting. This person's take on this author is, said this is probably the commonest type, the square hand of hand that there's out there. Relatively easy to spot and to work on. Sometimes the fingers won't match the hand shown here exactly. Some square-handed people will have longer fingers than others, and obviously this is something which you need to consider. Square-handed people with short fingers are likely to be narrow-minded than a square-handed person with longer fingers. But whether long or short-fingered, these people are methodical. Open people, normally hardworking, and pillars of the community. They may never get to the top of their profession, but will keep battling on, providing they see a reason for doing so. This hand is often found on carpenters, mechanics, architects, and inventors. Generally disliking change of any kind, they are never fanatical about anything, whether it be politics, religion, or viewpoint. They have a respect for the authority and, like anything, logical and methodical. People with these hands often have the problem of showing their true feelings and dislike anything rash or impetuous. They make honest, dependable spouses, but may not be very romantic or exciting. For this reason, they get on best with other square-handed people. Square-handed people are often found amongst Northern Europeans. The elementary hand, a hand that looks as if it belongs to early man. It is not a pretty hand. The fingers are short and stubby, whilst the palm can be many differing shapes, but is normally thick. The hand looks clumsy and coarse, and often there will be a few lines on the palm. People from the Arctic regions or northern parts of Russia often have these hands. People who chop trees, work hard, and live in a hard, instinctive life. They do not usually have an appreciation of beauty, but they are often good with animals, plants, and the world of nature, something which is of great importance to them. These people are not generally intellectual, seem to act from instinct rather than reason, and to be totally without emotion or aspirations. This hand, often regarded as the lowest type of hand, is seldom seen in women and rarely in its pure form. I got to tell you, I've never, has anyone, I'll go back in the chat room and look at the comments, but has anyone ever seen someone with these type of hands? Of course, how many people look at hands? Isn't that what we learned in the Shawshank Redemption? Andy said it best, no one looks at your shoes. Well, I know some women who would, but anyway. No, I've never seen a hand like that. Left, the spatulated hand. Right, the philosophic hand. The philosophic hand. Knotted fingers are the main sign of a philosophic hand. The palm is normally rectangular, the fingers bony, and the joints large. These people are methodical thinkers and seldom become wealthy. People with this type of hand fall into two categories: materialist or idealist. They tend to be students and explorers in the intellectual sense, wanting to know about religion, politics, and the inner spirituality of being. They have an interest in mankind, but are very private people, reserved, silent, proud, secretive, and somewhat outside the normal group. They prefer to view a group from outside rather than from within, but they will be observing closely. And if asked for an opinion, will give wise advice. Hard workers and honest, both with others and with themselves. They will endure hardships without complaining. They have few real friends and are a poor match with the chronic hand type. This type of hand is relatively common in India and the Orient, and amongst mystics of all nationalities. It is interesting to note how many people belonging to the earth sign, Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus, have this sort of hand, as do Aquarians. It is also interesting how many people working in the New Age sector have the philosophic hand. Wow. Anyone out there have the philosophic hand? A speculated or active hand, a large, wide hand with thick, sometimes long fingers with broad tips. These people are the active members of the community, people who are original and restless by nature and prefer to act rather than think. They love any form of gamble, risk, or speculation. They will keep going until they drop and are often likened with explorers or the early settlers in America, those pioneers who battled their way across the plains in search of a new home. A love of action, independence, and energy means these people will not be held back or restricted in any way. For this reason, they often have a disrespect of law and authority. They are originals, and it is often thought that women with this type of hand are psychic. They are people who are naturally athletic and sometimes musical also. This is the sort of hand that can be found amongst all types of people in all sorts of professions. They are all intent on making a mark in life and are true individuals, making their own rules and regulations as they go along. It is probable that many of the people around you have this hand type. Indeed, your own hand may fall into this category. Take a look and see. What do you say? Deep pause. All right. All right, the pause over. Here we have on the left a conic hand, in the middle a psychic hand, and the mixed hand on the right. Now, I have seen that middle hand. In fact, I think I've seen all three of these type of hands. Very, very interesting. How many of y'all remember laughing, right? The conic hand. Now, let's get going. How y'all doing on the bus? Yeah, plenty of libations back there? Smoke them if you got them. Don't bogart. The owners of this hand, owner of a lonely heart, there we go, sometimes also known as the temperamental hand, are usually artistic, poetic, gifted, and imaginative. The hands are medium-sized with attractive tapering fingers. Ooh, yeah, see? The palm is quite slender. These people are the charmers of the world. Idealistic, sensitive, and volatile, they dislike the mundane and have a vivid imagination and unusual desires. Ooh la la. They often act purely on impulse and lack patience and business sense. They are good conversationalists, often knowing a little bit about a lot of different subjects. They are people with many acquaintances, but few they consider to be true or close friends. Easily influenced by others, they are plain speakers and sometimes quick-tempered. They appreciate beauty in their surroundings, are usually bad at managing money, and prefer writing, painting, or composing to any physical activity. Many people with this type of hand are gifted musicians and artists. They are always in search of a new pursuit and need to have personal freedom to be at their best. Love is a fundamental part of their being, and they tend to be emotional, impulsive, and excitable. Many people with the conic hand are charity workers. People with this type of hand seem to get on with everyone and are often from a Greek, Italian, or Spanish background. Well, how about that? I'm 11% Italian. You got Spanish. Okay, the psychic hand. These are delicate hands, slim with pointed fingers and narrow palms. A pure psychic hand is not common. These people see beauty in everything and are the world's idealist. For this reason, many palmists refer to the psychic hand as the pointed or idealistic hand. These people need love, but often choose the wrong partner. Finding it difficult to cope with traumas and setbacks, they need someone to look after them and are often very sensitive and vulnerable. They are normally very impractical and have no sense of time and will frequently be found with their heads in a book of poetry. They tend to be illogical, have poor business sense, and are easily influenced and imposed upon by others, and as a result, often become depressed. They are ruled by the heart and highly strung. Don't fall into a trap of looking at a woman's hand and automatically classifying as it a psychic or conic. Look at it more carefully. To be a true psychic hand, there should be also a psychic cross on the fate line, but we'll discuss that later. Yeah. The mixed hand. This is the hand that does not fit into any of the above categories and contains elements of most of the different type of hands. The palm may be large and the fingers long, but it may also show characteristics of the elemental hand or the conic hand. The way to look at these hands is to look for the most important features and go from there. These people are individuals, adaptable, and difficult to categorize. They may be able to tackle a wide variety of jobs and do them with a reasonable degree of success. They are often restless people who like to move locations a great deal. With the mixed hand are sometimes engineers or inventors. Now we can recognize the different type of hands, all from looking at the back of the hand without even looking at the palm. Let's look at some other important factors. Women's hands are normally smaller than the male hand, and the features may not be as strong, but they will be visible. So the sizes of hand. One of the first things to look at is the size of the hand in comparison to the size of the body. In very general terms, people with small hands are ambitious achievers, often thinking unrealistically and aiming too high. They almost always have large, bold handwriting. People with big hands, however, are people who are easily contented and have an interest in and are good at working with detail, and normally have small writing. Looking at the type of palm, we can generalize that a thin palm is likely to show a nervous person. A thick palm, a somewhat egotistical and passionate person. A firm yet malleable palm, a quick thinking person, and a soft palm, a person who loves luxury. Again, in general terms, a narrow palm shows someone who is conventional and often miserable or unhappy. A hollow palm, someone who lacks direction and aggression and is likely to suffer a lot of mishaps and disappointments during their lifetime. Color and texture and skin texture. Look and see what color the hand is. Does it look like the hand of someone who works outside or someone who's always has their hand in water? What is the texture of the skin? Generally, fine, smooth skin belongs with sensitive, delicate people who are calm and even-tempered, whereas rougher skin indicates those who are hardworking, active, and vigorous. Most people, however, come somewhere between the extremes. If the hands are white, they are likely to show a selfish and uncaring person, while red hands indicate someone who is warm and caring. A yellow skin, unless a person of Oriental background, shows someone who is changeable, whereas a darker skin color, not related to ethnic background, shows someone who is well-balanced and fair-minded. Hairy hands are said to show inconsistency, whereas hairless hands show cowardice. So, okay, I had no idea. People with soft hands are often nervous and impressionable, whereas people with harder hands are likely to be practical and solid. I don't know about all of that, but yeah, okay. I find this is fascinating. Skin patterns. The study of the skin pattern on the hands and on the fingers in particular is very detailed and could occupy a book on its own. However, for our purposes, and before going on to look at the lines on the hand in detail, a cursory look at the skin will show that pattern is either open or closed. By this, I mean that a closed pattern will show lots of small lines, and an open pattern will show wide lines with more spaces. An open skin pattern indicates a person who is open and active and unrefined, especially when the hand is soft, whereas a closed skin pattern shows someone who is gentle and lethargic, especially when the hand is soft. When looking at skin patterns, professional palmists will look at fingerprints and in particularly at loops, whorls, arches, and tinted arches and composites. When looking at the palm, they will study palmar loops. However, as we have already discussed, this is very detailed work and is best studied at a time after the basics of palmistry have been mastered in practice. This is interesting because back, I was working in payment systems using biometrics. Was considered to be adaptive and knowledgeable in biometrics. And it's interesting now because that information is flooding back into my head. You know, biometrics, particularly when you're dealing in the form of payment, you deal with the fingerprints. And this is very interesting. And so here I sit going, I have some background in this. Maybe many of you do too. I find this is all very interesting. Personality types. Okay. What is the hand like? What is the handshake like? A soft handshake normally belongs to a lethargic sort of person, but this is generality, and you must look at the lines of the hand for a more definite information. It is very easy to generalize character types from these features, but it would be very wrong to discount these characteristics just because they are generalizations. Health from the hands. The health of a person is immediately visible from looking at the hand, and in the last few years, the medical profession worldwide has acknowledged this to some degree. There are many nerves in the hand, and the palm of the hand can indicate positive or negative nerve conditions. The color of the palm is most important. When pale, the person is likely to be selfish and unsympathetic. When pink, however, the person is likely to be hopeful and helpful. A red palm indicates a robust constitution. A yellow palm, someone who suffers from depression and melancholy. Mine's got that red thing all over. I don't know. What color is your palm? I do. How interesting, eh? The color of the hands show vitality as well as health. Pink-handed people are more energetic than red-handed people. White-handed people are ultra calm and often also pessimistic. Yellow hands in Europeans show problem with the liver, and these people are often highly strung and nervous. It is important to look at the temperature of the hands to get an overall picture of the health of the person concerned. Hands that are always hot and sweaty may indicate a thyroid or gland problem. Hot, dry hands may indicate a blood problem. Cold, dry hands and hands that are cold in places show problems with circulation. Hands that feel sticky are likely to indicate a liver problem. Interesting. Nails. Many doctors, and by the way, this is, when I go in for the physical, the doctors look at your nails now. Very close. It's very interesting. Many doctors can look at a person's nail and see signs of health problems. For instance, white fleck in the nails show that zinc is missing from the diet. And don't let your zinc levels get low. No, no, no. Hear me on this. You don't want that. That's bad. Up's good. Down bad. Like white flecks, however, some of these signs are not permanent, and this is something you should always bear in mind when looking for health indications in the hands. Remember that discussing health is a very difficult issue. Try, where possible, to give general advice rather than what it may look like a diagnosis. Unless you are medically qualified, this can be dangerous and illegal. Just throwing that last part in. The nails can reveal a lot about people, apart from the health problems. Anyone can immediately notice when a person doesn't look after their nails or has dirty nails. And these observations, together with their overall appearance, form an impression as to the character of the person. People who bite their nails will be immediately considered to be nervous people. People with perfect nails, however, will be seen as people who take pride in themselves and their appearance. Well, yeah. Yeah. You got to go in for, a manicure. And hey, guys, nothing wrong with that. Feels pretty good. Anyway, I digress. The natural color of nails also should be taken into account. People who have white nails are generally unhappy, calm, yet cold people. Pink nails indicate balance and a sympathetic nature. There we go. Red shows anger and passion. Dark nails or nails with a purple hue indicate someone is suffering from a circulatory problems or temporarily ill health. Those with white specks on their nails are often bothered by nervous problems and, as already stated, a lack of zinc in their diet. Before making any comments on the health of a person concerned, be sure to look at the health line and other health indications on the hand. Ridges across the nail can indicate illness or the fact that someone has been ill or is now recovering, but is still affected by nervousness. ridges running from the top to the bottom can often show someone with back or spinal problems. Again, think about what to say before making firm statements on this. Health is a very delicate issue and is easy to do more harm than good by being rash and in giving any type of health indications. The shape of the nails can also give indications on personality. Square nails show balance, small, square nails, stubbornness, round nails, quick temper, and almost almond nails are artistically temperament. Bent nails, which resemble claws, show people who are always on the go, and long, filibert nails show balance. These are, again, generalizations, and the whole hand together with the lines must be looked at before making judgments on a personality. Family traits. You should always check both hands, placing them side by side. This will almost certainly be a difference between, there will almost always be a certain difference between them, and even a casual look can often reveal marked differences. Should this be the case and the hands seem quite different from each other, the person is likely to have had a very interesting and eventful life. By tradition, your potential from birth and inherited family traits, plans, feelings, and wishes are shown in your left hand, and your right hand is your adult self. What is seen in your right hand is normally what you have done with your life, what you have experienced and accomplished or not, and what you have made of your inherited traits. If looking for answers to the future, always look at the left hand on a right-handed person. However, if they are left-handed, this should be reversed, and if they are ambidextrous, whilst not reversed, it may be that tendencies will be muted. The left hand will still relate to the past, but the right hand will relate more to the present and future. Practice will show that left-handed people often have the lines more clearly marked on their left hand, whereas opposite is true for right-handed people. Fingers and fingers length. Looking at the fingers tells you about the mind of a person, as the fingers represent the mind and the remainder of the hand's material aspect. Discounting the palm, it is easy to spot long and short fingers. Long-fingered people are analytical, lovers of detail, and are normally well-dressed, quick-thinking, and of a nervous temperament, inclined to worry and restlessness. Short-fingered people are normally quick, impulsive, and rash. They are not interested in their appearance, dislike detail, authority, and tradition, and are naturally rebellious. Should the finger be short and thick, the person is likely to be selfish. So we have here A is the Jupiter finger, B, the Saturn finger, C, the Sun finger, D, the Mercury finger, E, the first phalange, F, the second phalange, and G, the third phalange. In most people, the second finger, or the Saturn finger, is the longest. The third, the ring or Sun finger, also sometimes called the Apollo finger, is next in size. Then the index or Jupiter finger, and finally, the little finger or Mercury finger is the shortest. Normally, the index finger will be about 80% of the length of the second or Saturn finger. And the Sun, or the third finger, will be about 90% of the Saturn finger. The little or Mercury finger is usually 70% of the Saturn finger. When the index finger is very long, the person concerned is likely to be rather domineering and dictatorial. Should the finger be as long as the Saturn, the second finger, give him the Saturn finger, there we go, the desire for power will be more marked. When the sun finger is nearly the same length as the Jupiter finger, there is ambition for money and its trappings. A gambler is likely to have an extremely long sun finger, longer than the others. They will gamble with money and life and possibly also have artistic talents. A long Mercury little finger shows someone who communicates well and is a talented writer and something of a philosopher. No, pretty long here. Odd, isn't this? I hope you're enjoying it. I'm learning. Should you or someone you know have fingers which are subtle, that they can be bent back, indicates a charming person who is good company, pleasant, and intelligent, but also naturally inquisitive. People with stiff fingers are likely to be reserved, cautious, and lacking in the spirit of adventure. Someone with fingers which are thick at the base is likely to consider his own comforts before those of anyone else, and be fond of eating and drinking. Narrow base fingers show someone who is totally the opposite. Thumbs. The thumb is obviously important in its own right and represents willpower and energy levels. Many palmists will say that one look at the thumb will give you a very good indication of character, as the thumb shows the person of the individual. Look at the thumb and how it lies against the fingers. Again, as with fist and general hand positions, a thumb which lies close to the fingers means someone who is not generous and is an introverted person. A looser thumb indicates a more free-thinking person. If the thumb is stiff and unbending, this shows someone who is reserved, obstinate even, with strong views which are often aired. With thumbs, you should always look for flexibility, as this gives an insight into the flexibility of its owner. Obviously, if someone is standing with their hands stiff, they are also likely to be intolerant or stiff. Relaxed hands show relaxed people. Someone with a broad or naturally flattened thumb is said to be passionate and hot-blooded. Long thumbs are thought to indicate intellectual willpower. Short thumbs show lethargy, obstinate unreliability, and a weak will. When looking at thumbs, break them down into phalanges or section. The thumb has only 2 phalanges. The first or top section is associated with willpower and intellectual capacity. The second with logic and reasoning power. The base of the thumb is associated with love, and some palmists suggest that there is a third phalange where the thumb and palm meet against the boundary of the Mount of Venus. But this is for more advanced study only, because I actually have that. You know, they say it's 2, but actually I got 3. So not sure. How many do you have? 3. When the first phalange is long, the person has strong reasoning power and yet will be affected by the opinions of others, especially if the point of the thumb seems long and tapering. Should the first phalange seem thick, it shows a domineering person who is obstinate and aggressive, but a good leader. Should, however, the first phalange be thin, the person is likely to be a calmer individual, good with people, and possess great charm. A short first phalange indicates a weak-willed person. To look at the second phalange, you must compare its length with the first. Okay. When the second phalange is long, there is a lack of willpower and determination, although the person is likely to be just and fair and analytical. A short second phalange reflects the intuitive type of person, whereas the first and second phalange of similar lengths show a logical and well-balanced person. When the third phalange is long and the thumb small, it indicates a passionate person. More information on this area of the thumb and the Mount of Venus will be given later. As we have already seen, it's important when looking at the thumb to take into account whether the thumb is flexible or stiff. Okay, there we go. Man, I love this. Swear? Well, I hope you found it fun. Okay, we all got one, right? It's there. I just think this is cool stuff. And just think, by the time we get done with this, every one of you are going to be able to be someone that can look at someone. You'll be the hit of the party, the family gathering. And everyone's going to be around you. And you know why? Because we're curious creatures. You know, we really want to know our futures, not realizing that we create our own futures. But if I could see in my palm that says, hey, you're going to be coming into money because the money line is associated with the 3, and you're going, really? Well, that's what it says. Well, it ain't happening. Yeah, that's because we can see right over here, you know. Oh, no. Rage Against the Machine, how you doing? Darlene, show us your hands, please. Mine? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, Mary went, so that was a fast hour. See, there's my hands. Do. There we go. All right. We'll continue this. I just think this is some cool stuff. And really, you'll be the hit wherever you go. You can look at a person's hand and go, can I take a look at that? And most times they'll say, yeah. Do you know about this stuff? Well, I know a little bit. And what do you see? And if you go like that, then they really, you know, that's just jacking with them, you know. That's how you get something really going. Well, thank you, Rage. I appreciate that. You're welcome, Darlene. So yeah. Just jack with them, you know, and go, oh no. You know, oh, come on, it's funny. I mean, you know, it is. And you don't leave it that way. You know, can you imagine? Go, oh, I'm sorry, I really can't talk about this. It's just nothing missing, nothing broken. You got that right. All right, folks. We will talk to you later. Grace, thank you. Scotty says, I see you in my palm. Hey, I love y'all. Y'all are a good group of people. Brilliant, brilliant spirits, all of you. Honor and a privilege to be amongst such great minds as this. So until we meet again, trying to come on tomorrow. Yeah. Let me know by the like button. You know, hey, this is not, you know, the headlines, you know, something's in the sky, something's happening over here. Yeah, there ain't much I can do about that right now. But you know what? I'm certainly learn about other stuff that I can actually, you know, guide to. All right. Much love, everybody. Until we meet again, keep your